Welcome to the Building Texas Business Podcast, where we share stories of leadership, innovation, and success from business leaders who know what it takes to build great organizations. Building Texas Business is brought to you by Boyer Miller, providing counsel beyond expectations. Learn more about how Boyer Miller helps businesses navigate opportunity and growth with clarity and confidence at boyermiller.com. Now, here's your host, Chris Hanslik.
In this episode, you will meet Travis Hollman, CEO of Hollman, Inc., the world's largest manufacturer of locker room solutions. Travis emphasizes the importance of just being yourself when it comes to being an effective leader, and how encouraging innovation will keep the spirit of your company alive. Travis, it's great to meet you. Welcome to Building Texas Business.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
So let's get started. Let's introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us kind of, what you do and what your business is known for.
My name's Travis Hollman. I work for a company I own a company. We've been in business 50 years this year. Started by my father in 1976. I've owned the company since 2016 when I bought it from him. We're the largest manufacturer of lockers in the United States and actually in the world. Do everything from Augusta National and Pebble Beach and all those things for golf to every Equinox and LA Fitness and Planet Fitness and Crunch and all those jobs that you've seen out there. We do all the hospital work around the country, and then all the stuff from JP Morgan's, Goldman Sachs. All the banks. We're doing Bank of America right now. We've got lockers in every single branch. It's been going on for about 2 years. And then we do with the fun stuff that everybody knows us for. They see it as we do all the football and baseball and all the stadiums from high schools all the way up to the pros. We're doing we just installed Notre Dame. Got installed and released to the public like 2 weeks ago, and USC released last week to the public, and we're working on Oregon. The Tennessee Titans are coming out. The new ballpark for the A's in Vegas are coming up. So that's kind of what we do. We have got a good company, good market share, and it's been a fun ride, and it's been a challenging ride also.
Sounds like it. So we said locker, so it sounds like from the very kind of basic locker to the things we see on social media and the news to the kind of the over the top elaborate, sports locker rooms and all the major kind of Division I schools as you mentioned, and as well as the pro leagues.
Yeah, we've done everything from a Planet Fitness locker that might be $150 to the most expensive locker we've ever done is the Houston Rockets. They were about $30,000 a locker.
All right.
So it sounds crazy. Everything in between that we've touched, but it's fun. It's a fun business. It's fun talk to team owners and coaches and stuff. And you've also talked to people that are running fitness clubs that are in the fitness industry. They're always high energy. And then you're talking to senior people at Goldman Sachs, and it's really a unique, interesting thing. We always laugh because we can't time the stock market quite like Nancy Pelosi, but we know usually what's going to happen because we can see the buildup coming from just it's not data, it's data anybody can have, but we'll all of a sudden see a group just starting to come, and you can see the order starting to come in and the growth starting to come. And we always laugh, we should just start investing in these things beforehand, but we never do. And we always, kind of laugh at ourselves afterwards going, that would have been good because we knew it was coming, because construction's kind of where, when you're building buildings and doing things, kind of where when companies are starting to grow, that's where they start spending some money because they need to, they need more resources.
Yeah, kind of a lead indicator, right?
It's a lead indicator, yeah.
So you mentioned 50 years in business. Your dad started it. I guess, what kind of led him into this? And maybe when you took over in 2016, what was the passion you had for it to take it over, and how have you kind of changed the direction of the company, if you have, or gone into new markets?
So my dad started in 1976 building racquetball courts. He loved playing racquetball. He was a home builder, got out of that, and he decided he was going to build his first racquetball club. And back then they did tilt-up construction on racquetball clubs, which was crazy because back in those days, every racquetball club was like 20, 30 courts. It was a crazy design and a almost a mess to build.
Yeah.
He started doing a panelized court, which is basically formica on top of particle board. He tongue and grooved it, called it the Hollman Court Systems, and that is what kind of started leading. That was started in Portland, Oregon, in 1976. Then he had some, he had some things that went on in the business, and so mid 1980s, he moved to Oklahoma, and he right outside of Oklahoma City, and he started building racquetball courts there, and he started building the locker business. At that point in time, there were really no fitness clubs. It was almost all golf, and that business started going fairly well. I came there in 1994 and started working for him. I got out of college. I'd owned my own business. I'd sold it. I thought I was very wealthy at the time, which was, looking back, is funny. But when you're young, when you're in your 20s, you have a few dollars in your pocket. You think you're king of the world, and know everything, by the way. And I came there in 1994, and basically pretty much ran the place until my dad came back. He went over to Asia. He was in the Vietnam War, loved the culture over there, and stayed there. Came back with a wife and new kid. It was kind of a surprise. In about 2000, moved back to Dallas. We'd moved to Dallas in the meantime, and wanted to run the company and enjoy his new family. And so he had a conversation with me, and I got let go in 2001, which was shocking to me. And I went out and started a couple other businesses, started about probably 7, 8 different companies after that, including the Marshmallow Fun Company. We made the marshmallow guns. I had a day spa, bars. We did a TV show. I did a movie. Did a bunch of really crazy stuff. Learned a lot about myself, and then got a call from his CFO and the guy that was running the plant, and they had gone from a near a $30 million company back down to a $6 million company. Mm-hmm. And they said, your dad's not here. He had gotten divorced, moved back to Asia, and he said, your dad hasn't been around for a couple of years, and this place is going to go bankrupt. And,
oh, wow.
And what's interesting is when I was there the first time, I tell everybody this that talks to me, they always say, what do you want to do with your, how do you figure out what to do with your life? I just got lucky. When I got in here the first time, it was, I just understood the business. It's a business to business type of transaction thing and manufacturing. But we're selling direct to end users almost all the time. And I don't know why, I can't tell you why, that just clicked in my head. And to this day, when I make a decision in this business, I think I'm usually right or make the right decision about 90% of the time.
Okay.
I got into the film business. I could have flipped a coin and got the same answers I got in the film business. I knew nothing about it. It didn't naturally fit the way my thinking goes, just the logic I have and the way I think in that creative environment just didn't work. So I always tell people, if you're going to get in business or whatever, you'd be very lucky in life to find something that you just understand naturally. It's the only way it's described. It's almost a natural thing.
Yeah.
And I just found the right business. So when I had the opportunity to come back, got the phone call. I loved being here. It was the best thing I ever did when I was younger. And I took that opportunity, came back in 2011, was supposed to buy it, couldn't get them to come back from Asia. It took 5 years, but we had a high growth rate from there, and it was a lot of work, but it was fun work because just something I like and something that naturally fit my abilities, know. People always try to, and we have people that come in here. We use this thing called cultural index, which kind of like a Myers-Briggs. And we come people all the time. They come in here. They go, "I want to be an engineer." Well, why do you want to be an engineer? And you've got no detail. We took this thing that you're going to hate it. Engineering is a slow-paced, high detail thing, and you've got this high energy, multitasking, no detail. You should be a salesperson, right? That's what
Yeah.
salespeople are good for. And my dad was an engineer or something. And we're like, just for all the people listening, go and find his culture index, Myers-Briggs, find something that study what kind of naturally fits your tendencies, and you'll become very good at something, and you'll enjoy what you're doing. When you enjoy what you're doing, you'll make a lot of money, you'll have a lot of success, and things will naturally just feel good. And
Yeah.
that's how I feel about this business. In the other businesses I was in, some of them I felt good about, but especially when I was in the film and TV business, oh my God, I'd get asked a question. It's like my brain couldn't wrap itself around the answer,
Yeah.
and it was correct. So you get in those businesses, you can lose a lot of money fast, and not have any fun.
Well, I think, to your point, if you can figure out kind of what your strengths are, right, and what your capabilities, tend to support, and marry that up with something you're kind of passionate about and feel connected to, then you've really got a good combination, right? Because it doesn't feel like work, kind of feels natural. And I love what you said about using Culture Index, which I'm familiar with, as well as Myers-Briggs, to kind of build understand yourself, but then build the team around you, right?
Right.
And helps you put the right person or get the people in the right seats in your organization. So then you can actually delegate and lean on them. And that's how you can grow a company to be successful.
So I'll give you a story. When Culture Index came in, this guy named Jason Coase, which is a good friend of mine, sold it to us, and I took it, and everybody's nervous about taking this thing, right?
Right.
So we had this big meeting, and he read what would make me happy and the kind of job I would like, and people were cringing. And so he's calling me and said, "What do you think?" And, "Oh my God, that person just sounds horrible." Da, da, da. And finally he goes to me, he goes, I go, "I love that person," but I knew what he was doing. And it's what's funny is it sounded horrible to them because they were, slow paced and this and that, wanted, security. And, I'm a kind of guy that would, I would take a job being in sales, 100% commission. If the commission's good, I don't want a base. Give me 100% commission. I'm going to go out and do it that way. Well,
Yeah.
that scares the hell out of some people. And when they read it, they would read, theirs to me type of thing, when he would dissect it, and I'd be, "Oh my God, that's horrible. I would hate to do one thing all day." And so we're all built. The point is, we're all built differently, and you got to find out how you're built, and if you can find something that radiates those things together, you're going to be really happy at what you do. And if you're happy, it doesn't matter. I mean, engineering is not my strong point. Elon Musk is a trillionaire now. Obviously, you can make a lot of money in engineering, and there's just certain ways of thinking it. I just people I think are a lot of time are on the wrong job, and they're on the wrong thing. And if they got into the right something that makes them happy and something that fits their style of thinking and their work style, I think it would change their lives.
No question. And I think as a leader in an organization, right, that's part of the role I think a good leader plays is helping people figure that out for themselves. Because it may be they're not right for the organization, so they're not going to be helping themselves or helping the organization. But if you can help them figure that out, and again, put them in the right role, then they can flourish, and as a byproduct, the company flourishes. Let's talk a little bit. You mentioned that, I guess, in that hiatus from the 90s to the 2011 or whatever, you started a few companies. And you mentioned the Marshmallow Fun Company, I think. Just, what was it about? What were some of the lessons learned about starting these companies from the ground up? Looking back, you're like, man, those were some tough lessons, but I learned so much from them. And anything you could share from those experiences?
I think starting a company from the ground up is one of the hardest things you can do. There's a reason why private equity only invests in companies that have some market share and that are moving. You don't ever see private equity people getting an idea together and starting a company. Doesn't happen. They figure that out. a running operating company with a system involved, even if it's not the best system, and some of these private equity guys are great at bringing other systems, is so much easier than a startup. A startup, you've got to go find. Marshmallow was amazing. We had the idea of shooting a marshmallow out of a gun had never been done before. When my business partner said he was at his thing, came up with the idea, I said, I'm sure someone's done that. I Googled it right there on my phone, driving pretty much, and it would just, no, it hadn't been done before. We took that out and we had a prototype and we sold truckloads on our first go because it was such a unique, easy to sell thing. That is an anomaly business that was the easiest thing I've ever done to start that up. Then you go into, building something from scratch where you've got to create, from the accounting systems to the management systems to everything else, is just hats off to people that do it. I've done it before. It is painful. And it's really tough. If you can buy into an existing business, even if it's not making a lot of money, but they have some customers, they got some product that you can improve on. I mean, that's what private equity does. There's a reason they're so successful at what they do. I hate them because most of them don't do anything. They come steal all our stuff and then make all the money. But that's what they do. They come in and they see something they can operate better. They're not coming in with new ideas. They're not coming in with new product that they're going to build. They're not building it from scratch. So the people out there, hats off. If you build something from the bottom up, there's not very many of us, and you understand how difficult, absolutely difficult.
And you have to have the passion and really love it to go through the aches and pains of what it takes to get a startup off the ground and be successful, right?
And you got to do everything. I mean, I laughed at I had the Riviera Day Spa, and a single the time these girls would go, "Oh my God, you probably get massages and stuff all the time." I'm like, I massaged in like 2 years. I'm the guy that's plumbing, that's fixing the toilet. That someone does it. One of my front desk drank a little bit too much on Friday night, didn't show up Saturday morning. People were outside. I drank till 4:00 in the morning with my buddies that were in town. And now I'm up at 7 a.m. working the front desk because you own the place.
Yeah.
So owning the place isn't always fun. My best job, I love selling. I had more fun even at Hollman selling product than being the owner. Owner's tough. Owner's tough.
Yeah. So you mentioned too, I guess, that you moved to Dallas from Oklahoma. It sounded like at some point. Let's talk a little bit about the state of Texas and owning and running a business here, and kind of the advantages that you think that the business is taking advantage of because it's Texas based.
I mean, okay, I give my Texas speech because I give it to people all the time. You've got American laws, you've got your own power grid for manufacturing. Is what we do is incredible. The electricity cost here is amazing for us. And you've got this can-do winning spirit down here. We've got our own military, we've got our own ports down here. All of these resources that Texas has, because all the shipping lanes, all the trucking lanes, all come through North Texas.
Yeah.
Dallas, in my estimation, is the epitome of any city in the entire world for business. I think it's the best place to do it. Example would be during COVID, we've got, we run about 300 people here, got 3 plants. Our biggest plant, the fire suppression goes out, the board.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Portland, Oregon, where it's very different politically and very different manufacturing. I've done a lot of business in California. All these places would have shut me down. I can't, my sprinkler systems, nothing works. My alarm systems, nothing works. I called the mayor up that day. First of all, we called the people to get a new board. They said, we're closed for COVID. It might be 6, 8 months, 9 months. We don't know. But it's not going to be soon.
Yeah.
They're up in the Northeast. So I called the mayor up. I said, hell, what do I do? And he goes, first of all, Travis, don't worry about it. I'm going to come out there. I'm grabbing the fire chief. We'll be out there in an hour. You're going to stay open. And I'm just like, that's the first thing he said to me.
Yeah.
So now the worry's off you, right? This wouldn't happen anywhere else. Then we get up there, they come here and they go, fire's like, okay, well, yeah, mayor says we're keeping you open. We're going to keep you open. We want you to, walk the floor whatever. We're going to come there twice a night, every single night, and drive by you to make sure everything's good. You guys have to walk the floor, do this. I mean, we had a list of stuff to do. It wasn't big.
Yeah.
And we did that for 6 months. There is not more than 3 or 4 states in America that would allow you to run 100. That building has 120 people in it for 6 months with no fire.
Wow.
But what else do you do? You're in COVID. Do you shut the whole thing down and tell everybody to go home?
Right. No, well, like you said, I mean, that kind of can-do attitude, and you have a government system that says, no, we're going to find a way to say yes to keep the business going. Been in conversations just like you with people from other states to go, during that time of COVID, we saw what was happening in Texas and just wish our state would have, stepped up and done the same thing.
During COVID hit, and I told all my people here, I said, hey, we're going to stay in business and we are going to continue to make sure you guys get paid no matter what. And I actually sent out a tweet. I was one of the first CEOs in the country to send out a tweet. Mark Cuban comment. I mean, everybody comment on it. It actually went viral, but it was, we made a commitment to our people early on in COVID before we knew it. And during COVID, we got letters from government saying we were necessity. One was from the governor of Nevada saying we were doing the Raiders project, saying the Raiders project needs to continue. You need to get this out on time. So we continued to work. We worked very closely. We took precautions. And everybody here, we worked all through COVID. Every single person here, every one of them, 100%. We had 2 or 3 people quit in the very beginning because we were going to come back to work. 2 or 3 out of the 300. Everybody was so thankful that we worked together. We would have cocktail hour here at nights on Fridays and stuff, just to get everybody to socialize a little bit, because no one's having any social.
Right.
Nothing was happening. And people to this day are like, man, thank you for keeping us going. Everybody that sat at home for 6-9 months and whatever, they've never really got going again. They're still arguing whether they come back to work.
Yeah, no question.
4 years.
It's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Let's talk a little bit about innovation, because I mean, I've seen, in the last few years, lots of new locker rooms. How have you incorporated that kind of innovation or creative spirit within the company to be delivering these kind of cool new products to your customers?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, we've got an R&D department here, which I really enjoy working at. We always have something going on our R&D. My thought process is a little bit different than probably, venture capital for sure, is even if the project doesn't turn out well and we're trying to figure something new out, just by always innovating, it keeps your company's spirit alive. If you would ask anybody that works here, we're 50 years old now. If you asked them, do you feel more like a startup or an old company? I would say 95% would say we feel like a startup.
Yeah.
Because we're always doing new things, whether they work or not. We're always trying things. We're listening to everybody here. Everybody's got ideas. I think it's very important to keep that entrepreneurial, like almost a brand new feeling, spirit alive.
Yeah.
Everybody that works here can't believe we were in business 50 years.
It's kind of like a vibe, right? That just gets infectious.
It's an infectious vibe. So, we did Me Space, which was kind of our last one. I'm dyslexic, ADHD, so are my kids. Neurodiversity is a massive thing right now. And I've gone out we do all these things for JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and all this stuff where they're doing these flat offices. I go in those offices and I'm honestly almost makes me sick. Thinking about working inside of one of those places with people walking behind me, around me, stuff moving all the time, just nothing I can deal with. So I started, said, hey, how can we fix that? We started Me Space about 3 years ago. SMU, we're shipping product to SMU next week.
Yeah.
Now, you said you went there. And that's been something that was kind of a passion project. The rest of the stuff is the lockers. We, are fortunate enough to get these incredible companies trusting us to do it's mostly football, being honest.
Yeah.
Sorry. They've got the most money, but they're asking us to do stuff that's never been done before. And we're taking that product and the stuff we learned at MeSpace and combining everything together and making different lockers. First locker that was ever a really sleepable locker was the University of Alabama. Texas Tech has that now. USC has that now, but a lot of people have that configuration. But that was all built off of, actually, that came from the MeSpace idea. Was let's build something where everything around you makes sense and it is usable. So you got a chair in there. Why don't you put why don't we make the chair so you can go zero gravity and you can sleep? If you can sit in it, why not you just lean back and sleep in it? Let's put the shoulder pads, everything around you, so you get there. Let's put your playbook right next to you so you can grab it. You can see mostly they're on iPads now. It's there and it's got charging capabilities right next to you. Let's do your drug testing, which is a lockable box and nobody can see that you got asked to go drug testing order, because they do the random testing and your results and where does that sit? So we really got into building stuff around you, but that all came from MeSpace of thinking about how we build an office that is the most desirable place to work and functions the way that a MeSpace does. And without all these, you just take the dots and start connecting them, and you can use one idea for 10 different things in your company.
That's interesting. I love how that evolved, right? And I guess continues to evolve as you think of new things and probably get feedback from customers about what they like and maybe even some innovative ideas.
And what didn't work.
Yeah, right.
We're not perfect, for sure.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about delivering quality products on time to customers, right? So, what are some of the things that you think you do to build and maintain those relationships, and how do you handle them? Because no one's perfect when they go a little south. So anything that you've kind of learned over the years that really works to kind of create that raving fan in your customer base?
It's just being honest with them. We have a customer here today that we totally let down. They're here right now. And, they came in and they thought we were going to give them the runaround. I just said, we screwed it up. And I said, here's the things we're doing so it doesn't happen to somebody else, but it happened to you. And I'm sorry. And here's what we're going to do to fix it. And let's work on the fix. But I see so many people trying to blame. I mean, even some of my people, we had a big meeting yesterday. They're like, okay, let's, we can tell them this or this, they didn't get this turned in on time or whatever. I said, guys, no, we're going to tell them the truth. We screwed it up. Well, they didn't get their shop drawings turned in when they said they would. Well, yeah, but maybe we should have called them a few times and said, hey, let's needle you along a little bit to get your shop drawings in on time. I mean, let's not blame it on the customer. And a lot of times people blame stuff on customers or other things. If it's your fault, just own it and move forward. And if you're trying to blame it on something else to do something, people see through that. That's not honesty.
Right.
And people are good. If people have the information, even if it's bad information that they don't want to hear, they'll be happy.
Yeah.
Maybe not static, but they'll be happy.
There's a reason the saying's honesty is the best policy, right?
That is, it is. So I would say just be honest. But the interesting, we talk about innovation a little bit. We started a new AI division.
Okay.
Which is very interesting because it's amazing what's going on now and what can be done even in the locker rooms and businesses. And I think that's going to be, everybody talks about it. But we've got our first person hired. He's a brilliant kid. And we're working on hiring another one right now, but we're running AI through our entire company. And we're finding ways to do things we never thought. I'm asking stuff that I didn't even think was possible, that I asked people 2 years ago that was absolutely impossible. And some of the stuff is so easy that we're getting it accomplished in like 2 or 3 days.
Wow. Any specific examples you can share?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. We do all the university work and whatever, and when we work with contractors, we have to slide into a portal to do all of our billing. and we got to go in, we got to log in, put our passwords in, go in, upload things, fill things out, and put our billing through. We've created an AI bot. They call it an AI agent, is what the AI people, they can do all that seamlessly.
Wow.
No one touches it anymore. So all of our billings are done now on time, and they're done with AI. No one even knows, our customers don't even know that.
Right.
But AI is going into their websites.
Once they listen to this episode, they'll know, right?
No, but everybody else is starting to do it too.
Yeah.
Just even little stuff like, when we get an invoice, taking an invoice and matching it to the PO, AI is doing that now. AI is now doing all of our renderings for all of our stuff. We just tell it what we need, and it's doing all of our renderings. There was just a, I'll tell this story because there's just a thing at the Cannes Film Fest where they did it. One movie was created by AI, and it was 30,000 inputs for 15 seconds.
That's crazy.
I guarantee you next year that'll be under 3,000. The year after that'll be under 300. And the year after that'll probably be about 3.
Yeah.
And that's how fast we're moving. Stuff that we're working on AI right now, if we can't get it figured out, we're literally putting it into a queue to look at it again in 6 months, because by 6 months it'll be figured out.
Yeah.
All of our drawings, all of our shop drawings, all of our stuff is going to be AI.
With all that, with that innovation and using AI and the efficiencies, I guess, how has that impacted your employee headcount?
Right now, it's gone up a little bit because we're having to check everything and do everything and figure everything out. It will eventually come down.
Yeah,
and it there's still going to be great jobs. I think the mid-range. My thought is the mid-range jobs are going to have more of a problem. The lower, stuff that the stuff in the plant's going to still be doing the plant. They're building stuff. But a lot of the high-end jobs are going to be more prominent.
Yeah.
Who's running the AI bots? Who is checking who's got the logic to look at them and making sure their calculations are correct and checking their bill of materials and everything else, even though the AI is doing it, to making sure that we're still on track. That's where the future is as far as our company goes. It's going to be, I might not have that as many 60, 70, $80,000 employees. I might have more $200,000 employees than I do now.
Right.
But I think that's kind of where it's going. And then the middle gap is going to be
right. The clerk and clerical data entry person is probably
going to have trouble.
Replaced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I think it's great to hear how people are integrating and using AI. You can't avoid it, right? It's people say, you got to lean into it and then figure out how it can work for you and your business. Let's talk a little bit about leadership. I mean, you've obviously been in various leadership roles for a long time. How would you describe your leadership style, and how do you think that's evolved over time?
I mean, when you're in your 20s, early 30s, you know everything. When you get in your about 40, everybody says you kind of figured out how dumb you are. And I'm mid 50s now, and I'm really figured out how much I don't know, but I think I've calmed down a lot in my leadership style. Everybody has a different style. Steve Jobs, one of the most successful people in the world, everybody said he was the biggest ass ever, but he got stuff done.
Yeah.
I don't think, I think whatever your leadership style is, you have to lean into it a little bit. And just kind of go with it and let people know that's who you are, and be kind of more authentic about it. People try to change their leadership style and try to do things. I don't think that really works very well. Yeah. So I came to terms with, even dyslexia, like my notes and stuff. I'll tell people now, for example, I say, I don't like to read a lot. Give it to me in bullet point. If I give you you send me an email and I send one back to you, if you see nothing on the email, look in the subject line. And that is me liking what you're doing, because that's my leadership style. If you get a paragraph from me, probably mad. So the shorter, better, longer, not better. I said, if you write me a 5-page essay thing, I'm going to read the first like 3 sentences and I'm going to be done with that.
Yeah.
So your communication style, I have not changed. Since I'm a CEO, I let everybody know how I communicate. And the leadership style is very very exactly what I need done. It's bullet point leadership style.
Direct.
It's very direct, but that's just me. And when I try to sugarcoat it, try to do it differently, I just look like I'm not being me, and they know it's not me. So just kind of lean into what you've got. And there's different leadership styles, and people have been very successful at all different leadership styles. Obviously, don't want to make anybody too mad, but my mom, I love my mom. My mom and dad were two totally different people. My dad was the playful dad that believed anything could be done. My mom was work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard, and and very, very, very strict. And a lot of what I attribute myself to in life is from her. And I would have said that was the worst leader. My dad had a better leadership style when I was little, I would have thought. But that's not who I respected. That's not where I learned everything.
Yeah.
So two different leadership styles. And I went through both of them. And the hard one on me, the one that was the hardest on me, was who changed me and got me to where I'm at.
So the one that resonated, right? And I agree. You have to be true to yourself. And I think that starts with self-awareness, right? Really understanding, what is that style and being true to that. And because there are different ways to do things, that then leads to, okay, well, how do you bring on other people on the team that maybe are better at some things that, cover, where you're not, right? Recognize you have some weaknesses and you can bring someone into the leadership team to kind of help augment that, and makes the whole organization better.
Yeah. I always bring on like all the people around me that are VPs and stuff. Most of them are good cops. I'm the bad cop, so to speak.
Yeah.
I had one of them say, "You're always the bad cop." And I'm like, I'm good at that. Makes you guys look better. But in people, if you ask them around, they all like me. They know exactly where they stand, and but I'm different than, the good cops, so to speak, in the leadership style. So I would just say, stay to what stay true to yourself, And by the way, Steve Jobs probably 99% would say was a terrible leader. He accomplished some of the greatest things ever. Same thing about Elon Musk. I've heard he's a terrible, terrible leader. I mean, he's the Einstein of our day right now. I mean, so, and then you've got people that were, I went to, you go to like a, Whole Foods or whatever. I went to a thing with the guys that own Whole Foods. Everybody loves them. They never made any money till they got bought by Amazon. Zero. They were loved. No profit.
Yeah.
So was their leadership style right? For them, it turned out right. That would have been my leadership style, but for them, it turned out right. And it's totally different than mine. So I just stick to what you got, and it'll work out, I think.
That's good. Good.
Learn some stuff. Learn people skills and stuff. Don't be that, but if you're a bullet point leader like I am, that's keep to your bullet points.
Right.
It's
great advice. Travis, I really appreciate the time. It's been fun to, hear your story and how you've gone about, your journey from in and out of the company and to owning it and growing it and the innovative things you're doing. As we kind of wrap up, I always just like to know, kind of what do you like to do to kind of just, get away, kind of rest and recharge?
I mean, I have 2 kids in high school.
Enough said.
we built a place up in Montana, which we really liked getting up there and getting away. I love just my oldest son's playing football right now. It's great. So much fun to watch him really try and do that. My youngest son he loves fishing and just hanging out. And he's so, I don't know. I just love being with the kids right now.
Yeah.
My wife cries half the time. She's like, they're going to be gone in this year. And, life moves so fast. This year, I mean, we're going to play you guys down there in a little bit, but I was talking to we had someone wants to go on this cruise or whatever, and I'm like, yes, we're not doing that. We're not missing 2 of his games. He's got,
Yeah.
2 years left.
Yeah.
And there's only 11 games a year. I mean, we're not going to miss 10% of them to go on a cruise right now because
it's very finite.
When it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah. No doubt.
And then her and I'll look at each other and go, now what do we do? And then you can ask the question. I probably have a better answer.
Okay. Well, that good reason to follow up. Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
Do you prefer Tex-Mex or barbecue?
Tex-Mex.
All right. Spoken like a good Texan.
Yeah. Love it.
So Travis, man, thanks again. I just, reading your story was fascinating, and love all the good work you're doing. I know we didn't touch on half of it. I know y'all have a kind of an educational foundation. I think that's, so admirable that you're doing that. Education is so important. And so just, kudos to you and your wife. Keep up the great work.
I'll tell you, I'll give you one thing on that to get you done. We do a 401k match, which everybody does those kinds of things. I couldn't get my Hispanic community to do it in my plants. Couldn't figure out why. Finally, I brought them about 7-8 years ago. I said, why aren't you guys putting this? We match you. It's dumb.
Yeah.
And they said, well, our kids are going to take care of us. I said, oh, a light went off. So we started a thing. There's a community college across the street. And I said, okay, well, so we do free education, college education there for anybody in their family who wants to go to college. And we do not make them graduate or whatever if they can get their undergraduate work. We now have got over 45 people in the last 7 years that the kids have gone and become nurses. So we're trying to get there to focus on your people. For me to go, hey, Americans save money for the stock market. That's not what my Hispanic community does. To figure out what actually moves them forward and then connecting with them. Wasn't a big expense, but it's a great way to start looking at your employees and finding ways to help them that are easy to do, and but understanding them. So we are trying to educate, get their kids, so the kids make more money than they do because they work in my plant, and bigger jobs so they can take care of their parents. So my people here can retire because we've educated their children to take care of them.
Yeah, I mean,
there's ways to do things all the time that are
that's
great.
A wonderful story. I mean, you're right. More people should be doing that. So kudos again to you and your wife for caring enough to ask the questions and then figure out a solution.
And it's not that expensive solutions. Anybody out there that wants to do it, it's a great thing if you own a plant. If you've got a lot of Hispanic workers, it's a great way to help them with retirement.
Great. Well, Travis, again, it was a pleasure meeting you. Thanks for being a guest on the show, and look forward to staying in touch with you.
Thanks.
All right. Take care. That's it for this episode of Building Texas Business. Don't forget to check out the show notes at BoyerMiller.com/podcast for insights and resources from today's conversation. Learn more about how Boyer Miller can help your business grow at BoyerMiller.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.